In the last video, we went over the post and get super global variables in PHP and what those relate to in HTML. For the get super global variable, it was form method get, and for the post, it was form method post. So let's go ahead and change this back to post since we're making a login form. We'll change everything back to post. And you might have wondered in the last video when we echoed username, you might have wondered how PHP knew that we clicked the submit button. And the answer to that is it didn't know. When the first time the page loaded, before we typed anything, it actually did echo username. It's just that username happened to be an empty string. You just didn't see it on the screen, but it still processed this code here. And so we're going to want to change that, because when somebody logs in, we want to say, for this example in this video, when somebody logs in, we're going to want to say welcome and then their username. But if someone hasn't clicked the submit button yet, we're going to want to say, we're going to want that text instead to say, please type your username, or something to that effect. So let's go ahead and find out how to do that right now. We're going to use a built-in PHP function, and this function's name is isset, and it looks like this. And this is a built-in function, and isset checks to see whether a variable has been set yet, whether it has a value yet, and how it relates to our dilemma here is it's going to look at the post superglobal variable, and we're going to give it the submit button as a we want the submit button information out of this variable. So we're going to go isset post, and we're going to give it the name we gave our submit button, which is right up here, submit login. And the way this works is isset returns a Boolean value. And if you remember, Boolean values we can use with if statements, and we can use Boolean values with anything, but we could put a Boolean value directly into an if statement, and it will work just fine. So we can go if isset so and so, and this might look a little strange to have two closing parentheses, but you can just think of it as something like this, where isset is inside the larger the big picture here, which is the if parameter, the condition here. And in plain English, what this is saying is, if the submit button has been pressed, then do something. If the value of submit login, which is our submit button, is set, that means the button has been pressed. So if is set, and we can get rid of that there. So if the submit button has been pressed, let's echo our user. Actually, we're going to have to move. We can actually move this right inside of our if statement. We could also have put it outside, but I don't see any reason of assigning a variable if the submit button has not been pressed. So if the submit button has been pressed, post our username input to this variable, post our password input to this variable, and we're going to echo welcome back, and we're concatenating our username. And okay, that should be good. Else echo please enter your username. And we're not going to use the password for this example, but let's just see what this does. Okay, so it says please enter your username. So what happened here is when the page loaded, it checked if the submit login button has a value, if that post variable is holding a value in the submit login slot, then do this code. Otherwise, just echo this down here. And so let me clean this up a little bit. And so if the first time it loaded, this was false. This isset function returned false because our post superglobal variable was not set for that index in our in our variable. And so since that was false, all this code here after the 3 lines underneath that were skipped over, and it just echoed, please enter your username. So let's go ahead and type our name here and click submit. Okay, so now what happened is the page reloaded. Anytime you hit a submit button, you're starting back at the top of your PHP script, actually at the top of the entire page, except for this time it checked if isset so and so, which was true because we did hit the submit button. Then go ahead and process this code here. And so it set our username to our username input, which was corresponds to the name attribute of our input tag. And it also set the password, but we didn't actually echo out the password or use the password, but it still set the password, which in this case was just blank. And it just echoed welcome back and then our username. Welcome back, Bob Smith. If we would have typed something else, Steve Stone. Welcome back, Steve Stone. Okay, so not quite a very functional login system yet, but I hope that illustrates a little better about the post super global variable, and also our first built-in function that we learned about is set. And again, is set returns a Boolean value, and it as far as I know, it only takes one parameter. We'll look into that a little deeper later, but it takes one parameter, which is a condition. I'm sorry, a variable to check for a value. If it has a value, it's set. If it has no value, it returns false. It's not set. And I think that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching. In the next video, we'll go ahead and continue with our login form.